So hey all, just kind of working on a wee project right now. I'm just getting stuff ready to go for work, so I've got the 270 here. But I'm going to go and test some copper loads on this new Hornady CX bullets on the 270. I haven't really used them on that. I've been using Barnes TTSXs, but I think I need a better. I think I need a kind of, not so much better, but I need a more of a range of bullet, so that just in case one gets in short of supply, at least I've got another load. So I'm going to go and test that. But while I've had a few questions recently about setting up the ballistic calculator, and I do have a scope to set up on my 22LR, on one of my 22LRs. I do have a scope to set up for some bunny stuff and some crows, and this one is the 312 with a laser rangefinder, which is ideal for the 22LR because obviously you're pretty much kind of stuck to the 50 yards mark, and then you're working your holds after that, and it's pretty much guesswork. So the more accurate the better. God, my hair's absolutely awful today. The more accurate the better. So I've just put the 312 Zulus version 1 onto my rifle, and I'm going to run onto my 22LR, so I'll just have a look. So I've got this on. I'm just going to torque this up just now. Just going to torque this up just now. Let's get the angle. So we are 35 for this one. And then do this one again. Torque it to 35. That should be it. That's the 3 to 12 back on. So what we're going to do is we're going to run through some ammunition now. I don't have a heck of a lot of ammunition, and my firearm certificate's away for a variation. So I'm going to run some Remingtons. I think they don't group that great, but at least I can get something. And I'll put a disc out to 100 yards so that you can see me setting it all up. But at the moment I'm going to run through the God, my hair is absolutely awful today. I'm going to run through the ballistics and how to set up the app and everything. I'll do that on my phone just now. I've done this before. I've got another video in regards to this, but I'm kind of doing it from scratch. So I'm going to clear the profiles on this, because I do have profiles on this at the moment, but I literally have I need to double check that. And I'm going to run it through all from scratch and see if we can, if people could understand what I'm trying to do. So I'll screenshot the app, I'll screenshot everything that's going on there. But yeah, so that is kind of my mission today. Sort out 270 load and then do a wee video on setting up the ballistics on this. Now I'm even going to chronograph my, I'm going to chronograph the ammo that I'm using. So I'll show that, and that's actually an important step. So hope you enjoy it, the video, and I'll catch you in a bit. Right, here we are. I'm going to run through the whole setup on how we set up the ballistic calculator, but I'm going to go run through the whole process. As you've seen back at home on the dining room table, I mounted the Zulus 312R, the version 1 from DNT Optics. I've mounted that to my 22LR, so I'm going to do some bunnies with this. But I'm going to go through this process because it's quite a lengthy process that you need to do to set up this ballistic calculator. I'll try and do some screen stuff as well so that you can see what I'm doing on the app and everything like that to transfer everything out. I'm going to try and do everything like just now. So first things first, and the first thing that we need to do is we need to zero the rifle. As simple as that. Zeroing the rifle is pretty much the most fundamental thing you have to do. So I've got a board that's set up at around about 50 yards. I'm going to double check that on the rangefinder on the Zulus before I take a shot. I've already kind of, on 3 of the dots that are on there, I've already kind of just messed about with the 270, like I said, with doing starting loads. So I just need to get close. I'm using RWS Subsonics. I don't have a lot of ammo, so this is not a plinking session. This is basically just to kind of show you what I am up to and how I can do rubbish. That's not what I'm saying. This is just so that I can answer those questions in regards to running the ballistic calculator. I'm just talking nonsense. Everything seems to be distracting me. I've got like little bits of buds from dandelions and all that, all the cotton from the dandelions starting to fly about me, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's like 25 degrees. Now I'm not going to do any super long range stuff with the 22LR today. I'm going to zero this at 50 yards, and I'm going to take it out to a rough range at 100 metres. Nothing special. I'll put it on steel at 100 metres so it shows you that the ballistic calculator is working. But it is genuinely, I'm going to zero it first and see how we get on. It's roughly around about that half-inch dot. Not really a tack driver with this ammo, and cleaning the barrel never helps. But anyway, so there's 6 rounds, roughly zeroed on a half-inch target. That's done by just now. Get rid of some of these cartridges. Now the next step of the process. Is to make sure that the wind hasn't moved my camera. So stick these in my pocket. Next step of the process is we are now going to run this piece of equipment. For those of you who don't know, this is the magneto speed. This is a chronograph. I'm going to stick it onto my 22LR. We're going to calculate some of the speeds of these bullets that I'm using. Not too happy with the zero, but it could be a lot to do with me cleaning the barrel and things like that. But the group's around about, it's under an inch anyway at 50 metres, which is a little bit annoying because I usually can get this rifle to shoot a little bit cleaner than that. But that's the rifle, not the scope. it could be still bedding in and settling in. But anyway, we're going to run this, get our speeds and see if that makes a difference. I'm looking at around about 1000 FPS, 1033 FPS, but we'll see. So first I'll set up this for you. So that side is definitely set up. We will now take you over to the other part and we'll have a look at the, actually we can do it from here. Pause this just now. So I'm connected to the magneto speed. You'll see me running through. What we're going to do is do a series of 5 shots. Now you can't, with the magneto speed, you cannot trust your zero on it. So you can shoot at the target, but don't worry about where it's hitting, because obviously you're attaching something to the barrel, so that changes the harmonics of your rifle, so it can change the zero off it because you've got something attached to your modulator. It shouldn't really matter on a 22LR or an air rifle or that, but it does matter on the bigger calibers. So, but we'll see. So let's put 5 rounds into the target. That's 5 rounds. What did we get? So we've got an SD of 29.6 and the average we're getting out there is 975 FPS. Right, so that's subsonics. That's kind of where I am at that. So that's good. We now know that. We can put the chronograph away. And we can run our ballistics after that. 975. Now bearing in mind 22LRs are notoriously bad for consistency in regards to their ammo, so that's not actually too bad. So we'll stick all this away and then we'll go back to the rifle and we start putting in data. Now the one thing you need for your data is your bullets data as well. So at that point, So one thing we need is our billet data. We need our ballistic coefficient and stuff like that. And I'm going to switch to the phone to try and do this on my phone so that you can see what I'm doing. Because you should be able to get your billet data from the catalogue that we have got. But just bearing in mind, you've got to remember that velocity, because your box velocity and your rifle velocity is going to be two different things. So don't just go on what is on the box. And we'll see this in a minute. So here we are, we're basically we're in the DNT app. So what we want to do is, we want to go to ballistics first of all. So let's move this thing up to this corner here first of all. Then we want to pick a profile. So we can add profiles, we can do different ones, whatever. So I'm just going to change the profile I've got here. So here in this app, you can pretty much check all your things. So your caliber is 220 was 22, 40 grain billet, length 408. Now we're going to change this figure here to 975. Next. 975. Done. So that's down to 975. Ballistic coefficient is 105. Now, and I'm going to save that. So just save that. If you really wanted to run data, we can actually run our data from here. So we can go to factory ammo. If you wanted to select your factory ammo or bullet, you can go into here. That would give you your list of factory ammo. So if we go to calibers, and we go to OK, calibers, we can run through this damn thing here, is driving me nuts. We will go to find the 22LR, click OK. Then we want the brand. We can go down here. What did we have? RWS. All the way down here. This record thing here is driving me nuts, so that's what kind of confused me. It was hiding everything. So back down to RWS. Keep going, Norma. Where are you? Come on. RWS, click OK. So that gives us our RWS stuff. So we've got high velocity green, Bathlon, competition high velocity. We don't want high velocity, we want subsonic HP. We click that OK. And as you see, it is, the length of the bullet doesn't really matter because it's subsonic anyway. So it's defaulted to that. So we don't want the 1033, we want the 975. Next, that's fine. Save. So we're saved it. So that is it. So what we need to do now is we need to sync the data to our scope. So we go back to device, we go back to ballistics, we've got 22LR, sync data on the A, OK. Ballistic data synced. So now it should be transferred straight over to your device. So what we need to do now is, I can't really show you the settings on the scope. I thought I could. The older scopes used to, the older firmware stuff used to allow us to do that. We're not allowed to do that now. So but what you need to do is go into your ballistic settings on your scope and double check that everything's changed. You can manually put those settings from the app into your scope, so you don't really need to connect it both. But I'm just going to go and double check and make sure all of that's correct. So I wish I could record this bit, but I can't. So I am going into the menu, I'm going to ballistic options, I am just checking the ballistic settings, 22LR, 975 FPS, 2.5 inches high, 50 yards break. It's actually 50 meters, which will make actually a difference. So what we'll do is we can change that. Go there, and we go to meters. Change that to 50. Save that to 50 meters. That helps a lot. And then we come out here, and all that should be saved. So now I am going to go up there. I'm going to set up a plate around about, I don't know, there's a 3-inch plate I've got up there. I'm going to set that up at around about 80 to 100 yards. Just going to pick a random spot, just put the spike in the ground and put the 3-inch metal plate. In this wind, we've got about 15-16 mile per hour wind. So I'm going to try that and see it. So I'm going to put you on pause while I do this. Because nobody wants to see my fat ass going all the way up there. And but actually, do you know what? I will going away up there. So there's my 50 meter target there. And I'll probably speed up this bit, and I'll take the plate down. So that's me put that. See if we can scan into where I put it. Little 3-inch plate there. So as far as I can scan in. Let's see if we can hit that. There's a little 3-inch plate there. Wind is blowing all over the place, that's where the problem lies. Right. So say 91 meters. So that's around about 100 yards. Almost exactly. Let's see if I can hit that little plate. Zoomed in. Hold to the left of the plate slightly. And I got it, first hit, nice one. Ballistics is working good. And again. And I hit again. Hit off the edge of it. There again. Oh, nice hit in that one. And again. And again. The wind isn't actually doing that bad. that's me, fill 10 rounds. As I said to you, I wasn't going to sit here and waste ammunition. That little 3-inch plate got all 10, which is good. So there you have it. The ballistics actually works. The bullet drop compensator works. The rangefinder works. It says it was around about 90 metres. That's about 100 yards. I did the whole range with the rifle. I did the zero. It didn't really zero that perfect, but it wasn't that far off either when it comes to, I got maybe four or 5 rounds in the centre of the 50 metre target. Everything's set up right. When everything is set up right, you're gonna kill it out to range. The wind there was up and down. I got a couple where I just nicked off the side, but that was because I was holding. You'll see that in the video. But there you go. That is basically everything that you need to do to set up to get your rifle shooting longer using the ballistic calculator. I hope you enjoyed this video. A really rushed video as usual. I don't know why I do rushed videos. Non-scripted. I came out here actually to go and mess with some new ammo for the 270. Nighttime season starts in a week and I want to make sure I've got everything ready for that. So I've got a load now, 55 grain of stable 6.5, a little bit of pressure in it, but it seems to be working okay in regards to that. So 55 grain of stable 6.5 for the Hornady CX 130 grain bullets, and they're copper cross bullets. So we will see what we can come up with next in regards to videos. I've got a Hydra video that I'm going to come out with. I'll probably fire that onto the 22LR once I get more ammunition. I've got my firearm certificate in for variation right now, so I am pretty much hoping that they'll approve that variation, and then I've got a lot more exciting content, pest control stuff I've got to do this winter. I've got lots of deer to do this winter. I've got a lot of things, and I've got some stalking to do in the next couple of weeks as well. In regards to daytime stock, so there's plenty of footage going to be coming your way. I'm going to sit here and actually I can't waste any more ammo. I'm going to go do some rabbits. So anywho, have fun, stay safe, and hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thanks.